and stop it. It is showing me as live.
Are we good now?
This is very weird.
Are you sure you're on the right link?
Yeah, there's no... Yeah. Go for it. I don't know what my offline is. Nope, just Nightlock. Like I have it spelled in my gamer tag, minus the MNR. It's all good. We can... I'm on my dashboard page right now.
Go to your actual... Yeah. Let me see if I can even pull that up. Hold on.
And Godly Drift added me.
Yeah, it shows you off. It shows him live on my end.
Well, I'm placing a marker here for race start. And worst comes to worst, it can be pulled from my Twitch to be uploaded. So, worst comes to worst, it's... Yeah, I get that. Okay, well, we are about to get started here at round 1 of the MEA Tribute Series. This will be Lobby A. I'm going to be your head commentator tonight. My gamertag is MNR Nightlock, and here in the booth with me is PXM Twisted. Sorry, I always try and say that backwards.
I don't know why you do, man. I mean, you've known me for so long. It's Phoenix Motorsport, PXM. Get it right. Thank you.
I'm sorry, it changes so often. I'm not really sure.
It has not changed as often as GG. We all know that. GG and Percival, they're the ones making Microsoft money off of gamer tags. We both know that.
Jumping off of the debate about who donates the most to Microsoft, it looks like we are about to get into this race here and get started. We have a full lobby, it looks like. A mixed class series.
Starting on the pole, it looks like.
Yep, your current front runners, the grid order will be in the LMP1 grid. First, F4H Scottson with a time of a 1:43.952.
Jeez, not bad.
Second is going to be HCR Daytona with a currently unavailable time. Third will be LSEM Buku 17 with a 1:44.567. And finally in fourth is VSR Snoochie with a qualifying time of 1:45.8.
It's always nice to see a VSR member in a lobby. You know it's going to be a good race when they're in there.
I find it really interesting how the LMP1 field has such scattered times there for their finishing results for qualifying. We've got a 1:43, 1:44, and a 1:45, plus that unknown from Daytona, which you could assume to be a low to mid 1:44, given just where he's placed in there.
Exactly.
So
I mean, it's going to be an interesting race, for sure, with the LMP1 field. For some reason, I'm not seeing the VSR member listed in the field at the moment. I'm not sure if he was unable to make it, but I'm not seeing him out on track with the LMPs.
No, VSR Snoochie is not currently present on here. It is entirely possible he was unable to make it to this race. If that is the case, that is definitely going to be a shame.
That is
the first race of any season.
Yeah, that's definitely not good to miss your first race, but it does look like we do have, if I saw back there correctly, we do have a VSR, we've got VSR race in the GT cars tonight.
Yes, we do. And Using that to transition our GT field for this race. First off, on pole for GT2, we have STS Titty with a time of 2:01.614. Second, we have HCR Chum with a time of 2:01.7. Third will be MNR Fujiwara with a time of 2:01.923. Fourth, we have MXR Halo Killboy with a time of 2:02.024. Fifth is VSR Wraith with a time of 2:02.569. Sixth, we have SSR Godly Drift with a time of 2:02.579. Seventh will be TXR Nobody with a time of 2:02.6. Eighth is iWicked on Mixer with a time of 2:02.794. Ninth is going to be Drift King 5338 with a time of 2:02.952. And finally, rounding out our GT2s is going to be CCM Sport with a time of 2:03.61.
And the LMP field is off to a quick start into turn 1.
That is very odd. It did not actually take me into the race. Okay,
really?
We are in here now. Yeah, it left me sitting there. Despite
okay,
being set
that is very weird. But yes, we are finally underway, guys, and we have the LMPs making a very, very fast start. They're already split off from the GT cars, and that is a big gap between those two. Of course, there are the LMP prototypes, so you would expect that to happen.
Yeah, and especially given the fact they have so much more straight line acceleration and downforce.
They do.
A track like Sebring with so many more longer sweeping corners and long, substantial straights, the LMP cars are going to be able to stretch their legs and use the track much more effectively than the GT cars will. So seeing this kind of gap is not at all shocking.
No,
I'm very interested to see how this plays out, more in the GT, honestly, though, because of their qualifying times.
Yeah, their qualifying times were a lot closer from what I've seen. And right now we have two Jaguars battling out, HCR Chum and STS Titty. We got Fujiwara coming a bit behind in the push, and then it looks like let me go back there. It looks like TXR Nobody in the Corvette battling out with Fujiwara back there. So this is going to be an interesting battle between those four as well.
Yes. I will say, Chum and Titty are doing a good job to begin pulling a lead on the rest of the GT cars here coming off the first lap. The question is, will they be able to hold and keep this pace throughout the entire race, or are they going to burn out early?
See, that's something you really have to look at with a race of this endurance. I mean, it's not like the tour races where they last 2 hours or more, but at the same time, it's still longer than most online hoppers, which I know these guys do participate in every now and then. So I mean, you gotta think: are they possibly just thinking go all out off the bat and hope for the best, or are some of the other drivers out back thinking hold off and then push it midway through the race to maybe hold themselves back a bit?
Exactly, and it looks like MNR Fujiwara may have gotten a little bit off pace there.
Yeah,
very
something
briefly,
happened. Fujiwara made a big gap there.
TXR Nobody was able to pull past him and begin pulling a gap.
Yeah,
I'm not too familiar with that classic Porsche, so I'm not too familiar with how it drives, but I know once you get a tune for that thing and you get practice in it, it's a very effective car.
It is, and it's actually probably my favorite gear of the Porsche RSR, honestly. Just always loved how that thing handles. Let's go and look back into the field though, see how they're doing real quick. Going back to CC Sport and Race, let's take a look at how they're doing here.
We can see that they're beginning to clump up
quite
a bit more in the back.
We've got a three-car battle here, it looks like, between Race
between
Sport and
Race.
Unknown here. This is going to be a good battle between these three here at the GT field.
Yes, this could very well turn out extremely interesting. It looks like they have
VSR Race is going for a
you-
move to go and try and pass Import in the bumpy section of the final turn. This is probably one of the most treacherous turns on this track just because of how the suspension will bump and throw you around in that final turn with all the bumps.
Yes, however, sadly, he was unable to make that move stick around the outside. That is a very difficult place.
It is. I mean, it's probably one of the hardest places to make that turn, so...
Yes, and M-Sport did a very good job defending, keeping to the inside and not allowing him the room to be able to shuffle through and reclaim the inside on
Exactly.
exit.
However,
So
he is still hot on the tails of M-Sport. And
he dips wheels. Yeah.
He was dipping wheels and Unknown gets that pass going down Unknown going to try and catch up to M-Sport here. See what they can do. Let's go and focus on M-Sport here. It looks like M-Sport is holding it off. Unknown gets a little loose coming out of that turn and loses a bit of ground. Now it's a battle between Wraith and M-Sport. Let's see if Wraith can get that spot back. Let's be Wraith and Unknown. Let's see if Wraith can get that spot back there.
Very interesting. MNR Fujiwara has lost 7th position to SSR Godly Drift.
Really?
Yes,
I don't know what's going on
Godly
with
Drift.
Looks like something may be up with his car tonight. He's just losing positions, it seems like, tonight.
Yeah, he is not off to a strong start, having started third on the grid and now dropped to the 8th.
He could be one of those drivers that, like I said, is holding back, trying to go and maybe let the other drivers underestimate him and then go for it all out towards the end. But that's a very risky strategy, knowing how short this race is and the competition that he is up against, because you would think that those drivers would be prepared for that.
I'm going to hop on board here with TXR Unknown, and I think I'm going to get a look from their perspective on game camera and cycle through here just to see what this battle looks like to them.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a battle.
Going down the front.
Unknown is right side by side of him. What VSR is actually past both of them. That's a surprising turn of events. Wraith was behind both of them, and then all of a sudden now we go back and he's ahead of Unknown and M-Sport. Massive move there. One of those times we wish Forza would have a replay mode to spectate.
Absolutely. I don't know what managed to happen to them, because I know that Wraith was beginning to fall behind both M-Sport and Unknown there, but it seems that those two battling gave him the opportunity.
Obviously,
and Unknown just about outbraking himself.
Looks like something has happened to CCR because or CCH because he is nowhere. He is falling back behind now, and I did not see him.
Oh, and Unknown going onto the grass.
Yeah, it's all that. That means there's a massive ground on Wraith up there. Something. Let's go see what happened. Where is something did happen to him early on?
M-Sport is in the penultimate position.
Yeah,
he's still a ways in front of Mechanics, but he also has a lot of ground in front of him to try and get back.
I don't know what happened. Something as big has happened to that BMW there. Not sure what happened, but he lost a lot of ground back there.
Yeah, and this is really odd because that M3 GT2 is generally a fairly tame car to drive.
Exactly. And it looks like Unknown. No, okay. Wraith, I thought I saw Unknown ahead of Wraith. I guess my eyes were playing tricks on me there. But things are definitely looking up. It looks like somebody may have dropped out. My screen just blacked out there for a second. I may be mistaken though.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened while we were back watching the tail end of the field, but iWicked on Mixer has actually managed to catch up to the back of TXR Unknown. It's going to be very
This is
interesting
going
if
to
he
be
can
interesting
see,
what happens here.
yeah, to see if he's able to find a way around unknown to be able to work up into that 10th place position.
Definitely, if he can make that work, that is going to be a good battle between him, Race, and Fujiwara there. Jaguar, for me personally, that Jaguar has always been a nightmare to handle. I've always preferred the Corvette or the Porsche, but that Jaguar, it does have power and it can make moves if you have the right equipment.
If you have the control.
And the control, yeah. Looks like the LMPs are finally about to start catching up. We're about to see some mixed class battling. Let's go and focus on the LMPs, see how they're going to go and move around while they're in there.
Yes.
F4 Scott's
I'm
still
watching
in the lead with these.
a very commanding lead at that, followed by
yeah,
Daytona and Buku. Buku is slowly pulling up to Daytona. I can't tell if he's fallen back or held there. No.
Going on, but F4 Scottson, he is dominating so far in these LMPs. Let's go on board with him and see how he's going to go and move around in this track and see how he's going to do this. Here we go. On board with Scottson here. Going into the bumpy section, you can see how the LMP bounces around, but it's still a very controllable car going through there. All due to that beautiful downforce and suspension built into that LMP. Making its way easily on the inside of M-Sport there.
However, all that downforce does not mean that those cars are easy to take through that last corner.
No, they're not. They are very much difficult to take through there, but they are easier than some of these GT cars at the same time. Coming up through the field now, and now you got Fujiwara in the grass back there. Not sure what happened to him, but he was in the grass. Saw that as we passed unknown back there. We got Race going up. See if he goes and makes his way around Race if he can do that. Very easy pass around Race.
Let's go and check up with Daytona as he's coming through the field.
Yeah, Daytona
coming up behind Unknown.
Looks like he's gonna try and looks like he's gonna struggle trying to get by Unknown there just a little bit. Passing him on the outside though, finally.
Although when coming up to a slow corner, you want to be very. And we have.
Whoa!
I do believe that was Unknown. Yes,
yeah,
that is Unknown. He is off track and not by a little bit.
Wall back there. Hopefully the man is okay. That was a hard hit. Hopefully that man is alright. I'm gonna take a quick look and see what happened to him. Ooh, that was a bad.
He got lucky. He managed to get out of that with only 3% engine damage. It looks like his aero, his aero and suspension, brakes, all of that is okay. So he should be good to keep going. That is a very lucky off.
He survived that, but just barely. I would have expected him to have at least 50% damage after that, but he is lucky to have only gotten 3% engine damage. I'm gonna check and see if I'm gonna check on M-Sport, see what's going on with his car, see what's going on. He does not have any damage that I can see that would be preventing him, causing him to fall back like he has. I don't know what's going on with him though, but he is on a 67% fuel. So, not sure what's going on with M-Sport. Nightlock, are you still there?
Yes, I am pulling up some race stats right now.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
And it is all good. Right now, we have our best lap set by F4H Scottson at a 1 minute 44.110 seconds. With the top speed of... No, that is off his qualifying pace by about 0.2. However, that is a highly respectable time from Scottson on this track. And the
Dawson
top speed
definitely
also
wanna-
carried by him at 236 miles per hour.
That is a definite fast speed here at this track, and Floyd Scottson, of course, a very well-known racer in the Forza community. Pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty sure he had made it into the Forza RC rounds last year, or earlier this year as well.
I would not be shocked at all, however, I will not confirm that because I'm not entirely sure myself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is a fast racer. I mean, you have to be fast to be a part of F4H. So definitely nice to go, and definitely not surprising that he has gotten that huge gap between him, Daytona, and Boku here.
However, Daytona does have a very respectable gap to Buku, almost the same gap between himself and Daytona.
Yes,
So
very
it
much
looks
so.
like
You mean
it
him
looks
and
like this is
you mean
going
him and
to
Scottson?
be-
You're saying a gap
yes.
between him and I was gonna say a gap between him and himself. What?
Thank you for that correction.
What exactly
No,
is
yeah,
the gap
he-
though for the GT cars? That is, I think, what a lot of people are wondering about as well. The fastest lap looks by the GT cars. Let's go and take a quick look here.
Yes.
Looks like the fastest lap is by, see if I can go and get this thing
Since
to
you
go and pull up the...
you're unable to sort stats based by
Yeah.
class, so it's still going to show Scottson as the top.
Yeah, we're checking some. I'm checking a couple things here, guys. I'll get back to you with that fastest time right now. It looks like it could potentially be unknown with the fastest time at the moment, but we are not going to confirm that until we get back. No, excuse me. HCR Chum at the moment with the nobody with a 2:01.824. That is a very fast time for those GT4 or GT3s.
That is just off the time set by STS Titty in his qualifying run of a 2:01.614.
Yeah, so that is not bad
currently,
right now in race pace. Oh, excuse me, race has a 2:01.6.
And moving on to the rough distance gaps and positioning for GT2 in fourth. In first for class, we have HCR Chum with about a 500-foot lead on TXR Nobody in fifth. About 300 to 400 feet behind him is STS Titty. About 400 to 500 feet behind him is SSR Godly Drift. Or yeah, about 400 it looks like. Forgive me, as these do sway around come corner
Yeah,
and
they
straight.
do, definitely.
Following him by just a few hundred feet is VSR Wraith in fifth
Eighth
for class.
place.
Sorry, I keep
Yeah.
eighth
Fifth
place,
for class,
fifth for
yeah.
class. Following
Wicked on
him in
Mixer
sixth for
is-
class is
Yeah.
yes, I Wicked on Mixer, who is almost 1,000 feet behind Wraith currently.
Yeah, that is a big gap.
And following
in this race.
And following him by about 500 or so feet is CCM Sport. Trailed up by TXR Unknown, again with that almost 1,000-foot gap to him.
Definitely a battle
Although,
between Unknown and M-Sport, though. Looks like.
yes. And following up, TXR Unknown in a very close race is going to be Mechanics. As those two get on to battle, let's actually hop on with TXR Unknown.
Yeah, definitely. Here we go.
Actually-
Let's hop in with Unknown here. Actually, we haven't focused on Mechanics a lot. Let's go and focus on Mechanics
That's-
and see what's going on with him. We haven't really...
That is what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I'm currently on board with Mechanics again, hopping to game cam for just a lap or two. That way we can see what his battle with Unknown looks like. Although it looks like Unknown just being able to pull away in that C7R.
Yeah, somebody has already pulled into the pits. It looks like it could be one of the LMP drivers. Maybe, however, let's see if exactly who might it be and who it is in the pits. I'm going to scroll through here a bit. Got somebody in the pits, so.
CCM Sport.
M Sport just pulling out of the
It
pit.
does look like.
Looks like, yeah. Unknown possibly.
I'm going to
Would actually, my
hop.
mistake. Got confused there a bit.
I am hopping up here with Unknown to see how he gets on with. No, that was not CCM Sport. I do believe that was TXR Nobody. We have
that would make sense with Nobody, because Nobody was leading that field or up at the top part of that field earlier, but now he is all the way back in 10th. I'm very sure that must have been him that was pitting a very early pit stop, if you ask me. Only on lap 13. I think this will probably be a 2-stop race. So for him to pit a little early is definitely going to be a risky move, if you ask me.
Most definitely. However, we did not check on the condition of his cars, so for all we know, he could have had contact that gave him damage. If you run into one of those situations where you get suspension damage, or brake damage, aero damage, and you can't get the car.
Will fuck your car. Oh, excuse me. It will mess your car up. Excuse me for the language there. But it will mess your car up if you have any of those damage. It will take massive time off of your car. So he may have had that type of incident. So we don't know. I mean, we missed that.
Exactly. It's one of those situations.
Another situation
you just have to
where
spitball.
Forza needs replay and spectate. That's something that really needs to be done for these types of broadcasts. But Forza, nothing we can really do about that. So let's just keep going in with this broadcast here.
But
looks like we've got a battle here between Godly Drift and Wraith. Looks like they're getting ready for a battle here. They're right next to each other. Go and take a look up here and see what's going on here.
I am hopping on with Wraith currently. He's still sitting a few hundred feet behind Godly Drift, it looks like.
But they are the closest two in the field at the moment, so we will see what happens between those two. Wraith, I know, is a fast driver, and very surprising to see him struggle like this at this track.
Our two leaders, STS Titty, being led by HCR Chum, taking a commanding lead over the GT2 field here at Sebring for round 1 of the MEA Tribute Series.
Very much so. I mean, those two have definitely proven themselves early on that they are the ones to beat in this series. Both of them in the Jaguar, if I'm not mistaken, and it is a very decent gap between everybody but those two. I mean, even those two alone, there's a giant gap in between. There's a 1,000-foot gap just between Chum and Titty already. So definitely shows the speed that Chum has, and Titty as well, because Titty over the people behind him has a 1,000-foot gap alone over Godly Drift, and that is definitely something you want to pay attention to.
Yeah, Wraith and Godly Drift playing games with each other on the back straight as Godly Drift's car tries to kick out over the bumpy last corner.
Very twitchy coming back onto the straight through that after that bumpy corner there. Looks like they're gonna try and battle it out here into turn 1. Wraith going on close inside, almost below the yellow line there into turn 1. Gonna try and make a little wider entrance into that turn. A very close battle here.
They are really going at it, and they are playing a lot of games with each other.
Oh, shoot, they're back, and now Thompson trying to go past them while they're battling. A very risky move by the F4H member.
And
they're side by side.
Jaguar just
that
making
pass.
that power just overtaking that BMW on the straight like it was
holding
nothing.
Him off well, but that pass is a very respectable pass there, especially just after that LMP passing them. That was a very risky move there.
Godly Drift had to have gone on the brakes far earlier than he really needed to. for Rafe to be able to make that kind of a jump on that corner. That is a very tempting
normally
corner.
These cars,
these
cars normally aren't able to pass that fast on that corner. So I mean, it is very interesting to see what has happened there.
Yeah, and that is a very tempting corner for a lot of drivers to try and make a dive on, just because it is such a quick braking zone.
It is,
and
not only that, he may have got scared or spooked a little bit by the LMP as well. And now Daytona coming in, trying to go make that pass on the inside, on the backstretch into turn one, or the see if we can find another battle going on here.
TXR Nobody and CC M Sport are currently battling it out, coming across the line right now.
Let's go and hop over to them. And yeah, it looks like, again, nobody's in the Corvette. We've got Corvette versus BMW battle right now. This is definitely going to be something interesting to watch. Corvette, of course you got the American power coming out of that Corvette. Corvette's known for its power and its stability. However, not really stability. The Corvette known for power, being able to put that power down. But the BMW is known for its handling, so they definitely offset each other. Definitely going to be something to go and watch here. That BMW definitely seems like it will hold them off in the turns. That Corvette, again, dive bombing.
Oh, there is contact.
The race did, but it did not work like he expected. That ended up making a little bit of contact with the back of that BMW there.
Yeah, that's the trick. If you're going to try and get up quick on someone like that, you have to make sure that you have enough time for you to get up beside them before they're going to go for their apex. You cannot try and cut off the track from someone like that quite so suddenly. That is how you get into accidents.
Move. Another little bit of contact right there, it looks like. Just a slight bit.
These two are really going at it. You can
they
see...
are. This is a very intense battle here.
Yeah, you can see...
Of course, nobody making the move. They're now side by side.
Side by side, and he will... Oh, no, he will not make it stick.
Right
he was not able to carry enough speed out of that corner. You can
now
feel...
you can see the BMW is actually... The downforce of that BMW helping it to go and keep that power down.
However, M Sport leaving the inside wide open on the final turn. But
yeah,
just
it still looks
being
like he's
safe.
going to manage to hold it off. Just barely, but he held it off very well. That
and
BMW
STS
like
Kitty is coming out of the pits as we speak.
That is definitely going to change things up. STS Titty has been a leader, second place most of this race, so definitely interested to see him pit at lap 17, and that is definitely going to affect Nobody's strategy as Nobody had to go and pit earlier on lap 13, so that's definitely going to mess with his strategy just a little bit, I think.
Yes. And what I love about this battle between Nobody and M Sport is you can feel the tension when watching these two drive. You can feel the eagerness of Nobody to find his way around M Sport. And that is
you really
something...
can. That's definitely...
Yeah, that's something that I feel like you don't see quite as much as you used to.
Yeah, I know.
And
ever
some
since
more
Forza
contact.
More contact, yes. But ever since Forza, when it introduced the new collision system as well as the new track limits, competition and passing zones have just gotten harder and harder to find. So people aren't pushing the limits as much as they used to, I find. And that's just something that really... Battles like this are hard to come by now because of that. However, in my opinion, also the new track limit update has made things a lot more competitive and a lot more interesting to watch. And now we've got them trying to come side by side again. However, M Sport just barely holding them off again, coming onto that back straight.
what has happened to MNR Fujiwara, currently sitting down in last place?
Not exactly sure what happened to Fujiwara. I know Fujiwara had earlier, while we were following one of the, I think it was the battle between either Nobody and, I can't remember if it was one of the battles we were watching or when we were following the LMPs. I think it may have been when we were following the LMPs, but he had gone off in the S's coming out of, in the early part of the track. He had gone through those S's and he was in the grass, just parked. I'm not sure if he had battery issues or what happened, but something happened with his car.
That is entirely possible. That's one of the big killers of this kind of event. You have to come with all your equipment prepared. You need to come with a new set of batteries that's fully charged. You need to come with a drink if you're gonna need it. You have to make sure everything is ready by the time you sit down to start this. Because you're not gonna.
Oh shoot, we've got the battle going on, and it looks like we've got an LMP that may be coming up into that battle now. Oh no, it's STS Titty coming up to maybe shake things up between the M-Sport and Nobody battle here. Things are going to get intense. We've got one of the fastest drivers stuck behind two back markers at the moment.
Yes.
This is definitely going to be interesting to see how he tries to pass them.
And it looks like the final turn has finally claimed its first victim as Fujiwara ran wide and caught the tire wall on the outside of the final turn.
Ouch. What?
He has already had a bad race.
This is not his race tonight.
Oh. And Titty just coming up on the back of M-Sport. I'm going to do a quick check-in with Fujiwara, see how his car is doing.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this battle. It definitely looks like an intense one right here.
Okay, Fujiwara is not carrying any damage on his car currently.
What is up with that? Well, he did hit a tire wall, as you said, so that could be part of it. What's his impact system and damage system? Once you hit a tire wall, is very sketchy at times. Sometimes it will deal full damage, sometimes it won't deal any. So he's very lucky to have hit a tire wall and not the actual concrete barrier. Oh, absolutely. Titty trying to go and make a pass between these guys, and he is just not working. I mean, this is a very intense battle right here.
Titty just cannot find his way through this field of cars right now, and this holdup is going to cost him distance jump in the long run.
Exactly. I mean, this race, I mean, all races had pretty much an open track just to himself. This is his first time really being in traffic
going
since the start.
For the dive on M-Sport, and he just makes it work.
Yeah. M-Sport, it looked like he went a little too wide in that turn, anticipating Titty possibly to go on the outside, but it looked like Titty may have pulled us a little sneak attack and then gone on the inside.
However, as we can see, TXR Unknown has taken the opportunity of Titty and M-Sport battling to run away from the two of them just a little bit as Titty hits the sign off track. Yes, Nobody, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Unknown is back in 12th behind. Oh, it looks like that's actually, yeah. Unknown, let me see if I can find him again. Unknown is back in 12th at the moment. 370, 380 feet behind Wicked on Mixer. Now 400 feet. Numbers are jumping around a lot, but he is definitely struggling. Okay, looks like someone may have lagged out again. We have a long loading black screen right now.
Yes.
I'm not sure what is going on. It looks like, yeah,
yes,
looks like
MNR Fujiwara is no longer in this race. Whether that was a back out or disconnect, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but it looks like
someone in the pits. That is CCM Sport. It looks like that is... No, M-Sport, not him. That was SSR Godly Drift just exiting the pits.
Godly Drift first time in the pits this race, so you have to expect that already. So looks like he's going to go for the strategy of a one pit stop, and hopefully that works for him.
I think a lot of people may. Pits. And that would be
I think a lot-
LSE Mbuku is currently on the exit to pit lane.
Falling even further back now, 4,000 feet off. Daytona actually is taking the lead now over Stotson.
Has Scottson made his pit though?
That is the question. Let me take a look. Let's look at the fuel levels of Daytona real quick.
Yes,
I don't think Daytona has been to the pit yet.
Scottson has pitted. He is at 94% fuel currently.
Okay, and it looks like Daytona has not pit yet. He is at 20%, and with 16 laps to go, he is not going to make it. Daytona still has to pit. I think he's
And
probably going for
60% tire wear on the front.
Yeah, he's going right now. He is at the point where he's just going to try and lead a lap and get that.
Yeah. Well, in a race
I
where
cannot blame him for that.
yeah, when you're racing at such a disparity between the skill levels of drivers, which we have been shown by the qualifying results, it's very hard to ask for a safe win.
It is, and he has just gone
Daytona
into
is
the pits.
into the pits,
Yes, he is. It looks like
and that is
some
going
of
to
the
be
drivers who
Scottson
pit early
passed.
on. It does look like a lot of the drivers who pit early on were hoping that maybe they could gain some ground while other people entered the pits later on in the race. So definitely a smart strategy by some of them.
And we do have a comment here in chat from TXR Popeye saying, "Come on, guys." There you go, Popeye. Stand there, stay and stream with us, and support your favorite drivers out on track.
Of course, guys, this is an amazing race so far. I am not going to lie. It looks like we've got some people passing up. Oh, it looks like there's a battle going on.
Yeah. VSR Wraith currently leading the GT2 field. However, he is going to need to pit soon.
Looks like Wicked on Mixer, Mechanics, and Unknown all in close proximity for a battle right now. Of course, they are the back markers, but they are definitely battling. Daytona and Boku in close proximity, trying to go and make their way through these back marked cars right here while they're in the middle of battling. That is a very risky move there.
Yeah.
However, that has given Wicked on Mixer a chance to gain some ground on Mechanics there. Definitely a lot of ground made up by that LMP field trying to go and make their moves.
I will say, as someone who is accustomed to prototype racing, although this will apply to any time you're driving a higher class, there is a lot of fear that goes into trying to make a pass when you see two lower class cars battling. But that is only amplified as you get into those higher classes of cars like the prototypes.
And as somebody who has driven GTs while racing in the while battling as an LP tries to pass, it can be very intimidating to try and go and deal with that. Wicked on Mixer getting very loose in that final turn. Looks like he had some issues, and TXR Unknown making that move.
Yeah, taking a hard dive
making the battle down the straightaway.
And it looks like Unknown
gets the lead down.
Cutting off Mechanics.
Wicked is now, looks like Wicked is about to start making some moves here. Definitely an interesting move by Unknown there. Down the drag straight, the front straight. Very interesting drag race too there.
TXR Unknown, very lucky that there was not a wreck that occurred from that move. That was a very dangerous cutoff that he just did on Mechanics. That
very
could
dangerous.
have
now
ended.
We got Titty getting passed by Daytona up here.
Yeah, that move to cut Mechanics could have very well ended both of their races right there.
It very well could have, and I mean that's something you gotta really worry about. Is are you racing clean enough? Are you racing at your limit, but at the same time, are you pushing your limit to where that you are putting your actual race and your car at risk? That is something that these drivers really have to think about as they continue to go through this field.
Wicked on Mixer managing to make it past mechanics and now looking to make it back up to TXR Unknown.
Looking back at TXR Nobody, looks like he is with no traffic. I looked like I had seen a battle somewhere, but I guess I may have been mistaken there. However, it does look like we have a battle between M-Sport and Godly Drift at the moment.
And
M-Sport finally making his pit stop at lap 24.
And our previous GT2 leader, VSR Wraith, now dropping back to 7th overall, 4th in class, after he finally makes his first pit stop.
Very late pit stop in this race. I wonder what made him think that would honestly be a good strategy. Honestly, if it was me, I would have pitted a lot earlier. Yeah, he'll have fresher tires, but will those fresher tires be enough to outweigh what could have given him fresher tires early on?
And TXR Popeye in the chat. Yes, TXR, you know how to drive hardcore now. My boys are amazing. Yes, your boys have been doing a very good job this race. That is definite there, Popeye. TXR has made a good showing with battles throughout this entire race and have definitely been very entertaining to keep an eye on.
That they have. I mean, there's still a three-way battle back in the field between Mechanics, Wicked, and Unknown. I mean, yeah, they are distance between each other, about 50, 75 feet between each other. But still, that is a decent battle going on between them.
It is a very decent battle. And speaking of TXR, hopping back up to the front, second in class currently is TXR Unknown in that C6 Corvette, I do believe that is.
Don't you mean,
I know I called that.
Don't you mean Nobody? TXR Nobody,
yes.
Not TXR Unknown. Too many TXR. Is it just me, or are there too many TXR drivers in this race for you to keep an eye on? Shoot, looking back towards the front of this field, though, in the LMP class, Boku and Daytona battling it out for position here. We haven't shown the LMP drivers much love this race, and they are actually battling it out. Daytona and Boku. Daytona making that pass around Boku there.
We're finally getting a little bit of fighting between the LMP drivers. I mean, so far this race, LMP has been fairly stagnant, except for the points where they are coming up to the GT field.
Exactly, and it looks like Daytona is going to be back and pulling away again. But it's definitely a battle that we will want to keep an eye on with the statistics later on in this race, because as the laps wind down, you're definitely going to see a lot of fight between these drivers. I'm wondering if Boku maybe held back early on just to maybe let Daytona think it was an easy win, but at the same time, that I can't remember I'm not sure what car that is that Boku is using, but it's
that is the Audi R15, I do believe.
That's what I was thinking. And I have driven that car before. It's definitely not easy to drive.
Yeah, that is the last rear-wheel drive Audi prototype that they did do, I believe, powered by that diesel power plant within the midsection of the car.
If I'm not mistaken, the Peugeot, I think the Peugeot was all-wheel drive at that point. And if I am correct with that rear-wheel drive is definitely going to be a little underpowered to the all-wheel drive. However, it looks like he has finally gained back some ground on Daytona there. Down to only a 50 to 60 foot gap between the two. So can he make it work? Can he actually make some ground on Daytona and make a move here?
And as
looks like he's going to fall back again.
As we can see, just over a 4,000 foot lead to that F4H Scottson has. He has absolutely ran away with this race.
Yeah, Scottson, as I said, he is probably the fastest racer in this series, and definitely one that you do need to look out for because this man, he is a killer pretty much when it comes to driving anything like the prototypes, and this man is just dominating this race, consistent lap after lap after lap. He is just putting down some extremely fast speeds. I mean, he's dominated the top speed record in this track. He's dominated everything.
And mechanics
I mean, you just cannot
coming out
anything.
of his pit stop currently.
So that was a nice battle earlier between mechanics. Question is, did he have the right strategy? Will those fresher tires give him an opportunity to catch up where some of these drivers may have fallen off with tire wear?
I'm going to go
Scott's
ahead and
coming up on some back markers here, coming up on M Sport. Will that possibly slow him down and give those others a chance? No, it will not, as he quickly maneuvers around M Sport.
even if Scottson did get slowed down at this point, I think just the sheer lead he has, combined with the laps remaining, give him more than enough buffer for him to be able to run away with.
Yeah. I think it would take Scottson having a battery failure or just completely bottling it for them to even have a chance, honestly. I mean, Scottson is just blowing away this field right now, and it has been all race. I don't think there's anything that you can do to stop this man. He is unstoppable at the moment.
However, LSE Mbuku still wetting his jaw, trying to chase down Daytona.
I mean, you really can't expect anything less from him. I mean, it's just something you would have to expect, really.
Oh, absolutely. Although I will say I am happy for Daytona with the fact he is finally getting the chance to hopefully complete this race, given the bad history of lag outs that he tends to have whenever it comes to these kind of races.
Yeah, Daytona is very known to have lag outs, especially I remember in TC and ASCC earlier this year. He was very prone to lag outs. I think that was part of his biggest issues with ASCC. If he was very fast, but at the same time, the main thing that held him back was disconnects. So definitely something that is nice to see that he is actually still able to connect.
Yes, however, I will be hopping off of LSE Mbuku right now. I will hop on with SSR Godly Drift, who is currently trying to chase down VSR Wraith. However, there is a few 100-foot gap that he's going to need to close up before he's going to get his chance to try and take down the VSR member.
Yeah, and VSR, this race has been dominating in the GT class, really. I mean, yeah, they did fall back early on, but they have definitely made back that ground, and they are now pretty much running away with this, except for the two leaders who have held it the entire time. Godly Drift really closing in on him. Now it seems like
we will
that
have
LMP not really slowing him down at it.
No, it looks like
yeah,
it looks like the gap is roughly the same as what it was.
I must have, with the three cars in close proximity, I've got the map up on my end of the screen, so it does sort of block my camera view a bit. That is probably why
yeah. I'm running map, but
so
I am also running, I am also running the distance gaps with player focus, so I'm able to see the gap between the two cars.
Yeah, I had that
and
part off, so that was my issue there.
Yeah, and they are holding anywhere from a consistent at speed 250 to 300 feet between them.
Yeah, so again, like I said, that was just my
fault.
Yeah,
that is now, however, being cut back with Wraith not even getting 200 feet ahead of Godly Drift between those corners, between those hard braking zones.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting race between these two as these laps close down. I feel like Godly Drift really has the power and the consistency in that BMW, but I think maybe he either held back or must have had possibly a sim twitch if he's using sim steering. I'm not exactly sure if he is, but I mean, he had something go on there. I know SSR is full of fast drivers, so that doesn't surprise me that he is.
Let's go ahead and throw on damage here and see what they are looking like. Yeah, Wraith most definitely having the big advantage, and STS Titty having to make yet another pit stop. That is going to
definitely going to hurt him there.
Yeah, that is going to lead him down in the field.
Yeah, I mean, he was finally making his way back up after that first pit stop. I'm wondering if maybe he had contact with another car here. And as we're focusing on the battle between
Godly Drift going for a move. There.
Yeah, very much
and
so.
they have an LMP. Yeah, they have Daytona coming up on them quick.
Yeah, Daytona making that move fast and clean right there by the side of him. Godly Drift with 33% tire wear on his fronts and 25, 24 in the rear, while Wraith at the moment only has a 20% on his tires in the front and 19 in the rear. I think Godly Drift pitted a little earlier than Wraith though, so that pit strategy for Wraith definitely working well for him right here in the later stages of this race. However, it does look like Godly Drift is still gaining on him just slightly. As we go through here, if he can go and make this transition to the S's and onto the backswitch, if he can nail this transition to the backswitch, he will have a decent chance of maybe picking up some of that needed ground that he desperately needs to go and make it.
Well, when you're looking at less than a 50-foot gap between them as they're going down the straight, Godly Drift is close enough to make a move if he can get it done right.
Yeah, he is. I mean, all he's got to do is just peek that nose just perfectly, and it looks like he is, contact!
A little tap.
HCR race back there as they were coming out of that turn.
However, he will not be able to make anything stick, and he will lose a little bit of ground. And it looks like Wraith locking up his brakes a little bit going into turn 1.
Yeah, very surprising to see him lock them up. He's been so smooth on those brakes all the race, and now to see him lock them up, I'm wondering if maybe he realized he outbraked himself just because he was trying to go and hold off Godly Drift, and he had to slam on those just enough to go and slow him down.
And as the race currently stands, going from LMP down to GT2, giving you your field order, we have in first F4H Scottson, followed by HCR Daytona, and finally rounding out the LMPs will be LSE Mbuku 17. Moving on to the GT2s, we have in first for class HCCR Chum, in second TXR Nobody, in third VSR Wraith, fourth SSR Godly Drift, in fifth STS Titty, ninth TXR Unknown, 10th iWicked on Mixer, 11th CC M Sport, and finally rounding out the 12th car overall and the 9th in class, we have Mechanics.
Again, I feel bad for Fujiwara though for the bad luck he had. He had such a strong start and then things started to go off for him. I'm not sure what happened.
He had a very strong start with a good qualifying time of a 2:01.9, being able to put him up in third place. But as we saw, once the race started and they got on track, he just fell off and his pace began to die.
Yeah, definitely something interesting. I'm not sure what happened there, but definitely something happened there to really mess things up. Again, they are back battling again, and it looks like Godly Drift has fallen back, surprisingly. He was making up some ground, but he has fallen back now to a 70-foot gap. So, again, they're coming back into the turn section now. The Jag
Godly
versus
Drift
BMW.
getting a little loose as it
Yeah,
hopped
the thing,
through the
again,
curve.
Again, you have to remember, the Godly Drift has a lot more wear on his tires. And another thing that you also have to remember is right now, you are looking at a battle of the BMW versus the Jag. The Jag, as with the Corvette, is a power monster, while the BMW is a grip monster. So you really have to go and put that into perspective as well. The Jag is going to pull away on the straights, but that BMW will be right on its ass in the turns.
Do watch your language yet again in the stream, please.
Excuse me. Again.
Oh,
sorry.
and Godly
Oh,
Drift.
and he
big.
gets way loose.
Yeah,
Big
he got...
outbreak right there. Very common
His
section to
back
outbreak yourself.
in.
Very unfortunate.
No, that wasn't an outbreaking. He actually got his leftmost tires up on the curb when he went in to brake, and that just made his rear end slide out and got him out there on the grass.
Okay, well, I must have misseen that. I guess I was following Wraith. I guess you were following him at that time.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, I'm currently
okay, so it
on
looks like
Godly Drift.
okay, it looks like unknown. Looks like we've got a battle here with Wicked on Mixer coming up
And
soon.
TX
it looks like he is closing
coming
in
up
on TXR
Unknown. I swapped over to them just very briefly before you said that there was another battle going on. Oh, and what is going on with TXR Unknown for that sudden slowdown from him?
I have no idea. Something must have happened with him. I mean, he had to beat that off very fast right there.
And he's running 10% engine damage with almost 60% tire wear in the front. This is going to be
That's definitely going to
tough...
cost him with only 4 laps to go.
Yeah, this is going to be very tough for TXR Unknown to try and scrape this back and take 8th back from iWicked on Mixer.
Yeah, that engine
However,
damage is something that will
iWicked on
definitely take effect on
Mixer,
you.
he is sitting at the same tire wear and fuel levels. The only difference is he does not have that engine damage that Unknown is currently having to battle with. And
yeah,
as
it's definitely
said,
something. Oh, we got another back out there real quick. Another flash.
With both of these cars being powerhouses, both that Jaguar and that C6 Vet, that is going to make things very difficult.
Interesting. Yeah, the Jag, from what I've experienced, it's got the power, but it also has handling. The Corvette is just pure power, so that thing is more of a straight line speed. However, the Jag has a mix of both speed and handling. So the Jag is definitely, in my opinion, the better choice for the battle.
That could very much so be true. However, I do believe we have very evenly matched competitors before you take into account overall damage plus race length remaining.
Exactly. I mean, both of them have been consistent all the race. They both are amazing drivers throughout this race, but I think part of it as well is the difference in the cars and the way that those two cars are built. But definitely, I mean, the damage is definitely taking a toll on Unknown, but
absolutely,
it's a surprising turn of events.
Yeah, Unknown is giving up speed and giving up distance on every single turn here. You can tell that he's definitely feeling the effects on his car at the moment.
Very much so. It's definitely sad to see him falling back so much after he's put so much work into this race so far. We're now with 3 laps to go. And we're gonna look real quick. I'm gonna look through the field, see if there's any more battles going on here.
And TXR iPopeye says that you are wrong, guys. The Vet has way less horsepower. However, horsepower is not a direct correlation to how much of a straight line powerhouse a car is. If you'll remember, the 2017 Porsche RSR has less horsepower than the other GT cars. However, that is also one of the best cars you can get for straight line speed. The C6R is definitely not a car that you want to sneeze at when it comes to turn of straight line capabilities.
Exactly.
However,
So,
again,
yeah.
you can see that Unknown is definitely feeling the effects of the damage on his car. He continues to hemorrhage distance at this point, while CCM Sport is closing up the gap. CCM Sport almost on the back of Unknown currently,
No, Mechanics is on the back of almost on the back of CCM Sport. Unknown.
Then
There's a 4,000 foot gap between Unknown and M Sport.
That was our leader,
Almost a
F4H
5,000 gap.
Scottson. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. It seems we lost HCR Chum at some point, I think.
Oh!
Yes, we lost Chum.
Yes, Chum is gone somewhere. I'm not sure what happened to Chum, but that would explain the weird lag out I had earlier. He is down 4 laps. Somehow still in third, but he is down 4 laps at the moment.
Yeah.
TX.
That is because he managed to make
of the LMPs.
Yes.
But I'm not sure why nobody is still in fourth after Chum though. Chum is Chum is not dropped out. Chum is still in this.
No, Chum is out of this race. However, before he disconnected, he managed to get 4 more laps than the leading GT2 car. Since this is based off of...
He is still in this. He is fluctuating between 300 and 400 feet ahead of nobody here. He is still in this.
It is giving you a distance reading. However, you notice it just shows laps, and if you attempt to select HC, or if you would attempt
I
to
see
select
him right now. I'm watching his car.
Wait a minute. No, we have had the wrong person. Oh dear, it seems to be Scottson that actually may have disconnected there.
Yeah, Scottson,
yes.
The one who was dominating this race the entire time. It's him who was backed out, who has lost this. Definitely a big change of events. Sad to see the reigning champ at this track so far losing his spot.
Yeah,
We got so caught up in GT battles tonight that we have completely lost track of Scottson there. And that's a big oof on our part. We do apologize, guys. The girls that are watching, we do apologize for that. That was a big oof on us.
Absolutely.
And Daytona backing up for some reason.
Sadly, there are not a lot of battles. The field is very much so spread out.
Yeah, the LMP cars have pulled over. They have finished their race, but it looks like there is still a battle between Wicked and M Sport back there. Those two are battling it out almost. M Sport closing in. I'm not sure if 3 laps will be enough for those two. I mean, they still have 3 laps to go pretty much in their race.
Yeah,
3 or 4 laps. I'm not sure if that's enough time for those two to finally get together.
TXR Unknown has actually managed to take his position back from iWicked on Mixer.
That he has. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but he has definitely taken that back, and it's going to be an interesting battle to see what happens. Again, Wicked is finally falling back even further behind Unknown. Right now he's 160, 170 feet behind, and the gap just keeps growing and growing. That Corvette, again on that straighter section, is pulling away. However, as you can see, Wicked on Mixer closing back in, down to a 70-foot gap there.
However, the question is, will Wicked on Mixer be able to make the most of this little bit of ground that he is gaining? Or will TXR manage to hold him off and retain that 8th place position?
Yeah, that's something that's going to be very close to see as these laps wind down between these two drivers. I mean, they've got the entire track to battle with on their own. No more LMPs to go and try and mess with them. So I'm not sure what's going to happen between those two.
Yes, this is going to be a very interesting fight, to say the least.
Yeah, it looks like going a bit wide.
Going
the pass
very
on the
wide.
Inside, and now they're side by
and
side
he is
again,
going to get that cutback.
That was a massive strategy there. It actually worked out for Unknown. I'm not sure if he planned that or if it was just a whoa. And Unknown.
And it seems that their race is.
LMPs.
It seems that
looks
their
like the race is over.
Done.
The race is over. That was a wild crash right into the rest of the field there by Unknown.
However,
that was a good race, honestly.
Sort themselves back out into order. That way we can see where the field currently sits.
Yeah, and we will get, and then stay tuned, guys. We still have the interviews to come here very soon, so stay tuned for those. That is going to be a very interesting conversation there.
Yes, we have, having taken first place overall, HCR Daytona in the LMP1 car, followed by LSE and Buku. Taking up first for the GT field is going to be HCCR Chum, followed by TXR Nobody, and VSR Wraith rounding out your GT top 3 for this event.
3 of the fastest drivers all race. Chum was insanely fast the entire race. As you guys remember, early on in that field had a very fast lap, and I mean he was one of the first to get that 1,000-foot gap. So we're not surprised that Chum won the GT2 field. And then we got Nobody, who was also extremely fast this race. And then all those battles with VSR.
I am not entirely sure what they have going on right now. It looks like post-race shenanigans are most definitely in effect on the final
pretty much
parade
right
line.
now all they're doing is trying to go and finish this race. And Chum trying to go and take the out track here. Things very interesting right now. Definitely an interesting race overall.
And Daytona has parked it on the side of the track. Once these drivers have finished up this race, we can go ahead and invite them in here if they will ever finish up the race. That is the question.
Yeah, that's the thing. Will they? That is a very important question. It looks like we've got 3 drivers who are just parked here on the sides of the track. I'm not sure what they're doing. I'm not sure if they really, maybe they don't care about their wood credits. I have no idea. Oh, and Wraith crashing into Chum.
Well,
very
seeing as how
contact on the final.
Seeing as how the race is over, I will go ahead and get our drivers in here. That way we can
let's go ahead
start
and get
getting
these drivers in.
Yeah, that way we can start getting into these interviews and talking to these drivers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and send Daytona an invite real quick.
I already got Daytona and Buku. We just need Chum,
okay, I'm
Wraith,
going to work
and
on
Nobody.
VSR Wraith here.
Okay, I've got Nobody. And finally, Chum.
Hello, Daytona.
Okay, as we are gathering everyone up in here so far, Daytona, Chum, and Nobody, We
Waiting
are
for VSR Wraith to get in here as well. He was our third place finisher in the GT class. Waiting for him to finally get in here.
Wraith and
Welcome to.
yeah, Wraith and Buku we are waiting on.
Yeah, welcome to the booth, guys.
And there is LSE and Buku.
Now we just need Mr. VSR Wraith. Let me go and send him another invite to this party real quick. I'm not sure if he... Not like you, Trevor. I'm not sure if he realizes that I am part of the broadcast booth tonight.
I will go ahead and shoot him an invite, and once I do that, we can get into these interviews. There we go.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so I want to welcome all of you guys to the booth. That was definitely a very exciting race. There were a lot of good battles. For those of you that may just be tuning in, our finishing order was HCR Daytona in first place for the prototype, followed by LSEM Buku 17 and F4H Scottson with that very unfortunate disconnect, we do believe. Then the GT2 was headed up by HCR Chum, followed by TXR Nobody. And finally, rounding out the top three for GT2 was VSR Wraith. Let's go ahead and hop into these interviews here and start with the tail end of that. VSR Wraith, again, you just got in, so welcome to the booth. First off, make sure all of you are broadcasting your party audio.
Yes, please make sure of that, guys. Okay, so... Alright, is everybody's audio included?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay,
Right.
getting into this. Wraith, we saw you definitely had a varied race, a varied run in that race. You were going forwards, moving back, kind of getting on and dropping off pace, it seemed. What was going on? What was kind of going through your head as you were on track?
Seems to be a man of few words tonight.
Yeah.
So,
They do say the most profound men available.
it's not. He said he's having some microphone issues. They must have given him a faulty mic when they sent him up to the booth. Definitely a very sad thing to see.
That is okay. They say the most profound men
Wraith,
speak the least.
While we try to go and have them fix Wraith's mic, we will go and move on up to Nobody. Another amazing race by Nobody. I saw you in quite a few battles there, Nobody. What were your thoughts as you were battling it out and going and making those pit stops? What was going through your head there?
I mean, I was trying to get past old pitting first off behind Chum, just to make sure, you know, if I had good track position in the end. But
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you would pit on lap 13, correct?
I think it was lap 11, I believe.
Okay.
And I came out of the pits and it.
Yeah, a very early pit stop, which I thought your strategy was to go and pit early and then just ride it out to the end. Very good strategy, man.
Yeah, and then unfortunately I got stuck behind someone that, you know, slowed me down a little bit, but it was a good race.
It was a good race. Very intense battles between you, man.
One thing that I know I myself was definitely wondering. Okay, we will get to you, Wraith, right after we finish up with Nobody. But one thing that I know I personally was definitely wondering, was that early pit stop a part of your strategy going into this race, or did something happen out on track that required you to alter your strategy to pit much earlier?
Yeah, that was part of my strategy. To pit early, try to... The bad thing is I wasn't to. I was hoping I wasn't getting into traffic when I put it out, but unfortunately that happened, and I couldn't get it past the 8th place guy fast enough. So
That's
that
all
tends to
good.
happen
You
with early
had,
pit stops.
yeah, but you had
But
an
still,
amazing
a
race.
second place finish.
Yeah, you
Definitely
were still
strong.
able to pull out second in class for A Lobby. You had a very good run there that race. It is impressive nonetheless.
thank you.
No problem. Okay, moving on to our third place finisher in class for GT2. We have VSR Wraith now with...
Finally, I think his mic is working here.
Yep, I've got it working.
Okay.
Congratulations on that race, Wraith.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on that third place finish in class. One thing that we're all wondering, it seemed like in that race you were kind of picking up but then falling off of pace and swaying from the front towards the rear and just doing that same dance throughout the entire race. What was going on through your mind as you were out on track?
Well, on the first lap, I had a disagreement with the curb and ended up down in 15th in total. It's just like 11th, I think. So, pretty much just pitted as late as I could and clawed the way up.
And that definitely helped you out, as we saw. I mean, you had some amazing battles after that pit stop. And what was it? What was your thoughts when you were battling and you had that? I think it was F4H Scottson. I can't remember if it was Scottson or Daytona, but you had a LMP trying to go and get in between you while you were battling. And it was an intense battle that we were watching.
I mean, they just slipped straight through.
Looked like he was struggling to get in between you two earlier. I mean, I may be misremembering, but it looked like he was struggling.
Well, if he was struggling, I didn't notice it. I was too busy focusing on just keeping the position.
And hey, man, that's what you gotta do here. So I mean, congratulations again on your third place in class, buddy. Way to go.
Cheers.
Yep, congratulations on your astounding finish today, Wraith. Let us move
and now
on to
our leader.
Yes, on to our
GT2
GT2
winner.
lead, HCCR Chum.
Hello.
First off, again, as with everyone else, congratulations. You had an amazing race today. It seemed like you just ran away with it quite a bit from the start. I know you had STS Titty behind you for a while at a distance. However, he then had a very late race pit stop that he had to make that absolutely destroyed his chances of trying to come up to you within the last few laps. So when you noticed that he had to make that pit stop, what were your thoughts surrounding that action?
I don't know, I wasn't anticipating for him to have another pit stop. But at that time, around that time, God, I can't remember your name. Nobody started catching up to me a lot, and I was worried about that. I'm just super inconsistent, so I was a lot more worried about that than anything else at that point in the race.
You may say that you are super inconsistent. However, you were able to be consistent enough to take first in the GT2 class. So I will say that says something at least.
It does, man. I mean, this is just round one, so we look forward to seeing you in round two, seeing how you can do over there, man. I mean, round one was very intense, and cannot wait to see how things go in the next round.
Yeah. What's the track next week? Do you remember?
I will have to go and look that up real quick. I think
Yes.
unless Nightlock has it on hand right at the moment.
No, I do not.
Oh.
That will
It is
be
Long Beach.
That will be a very interesting race. It'll be fun to watch, that's for sure. If not,
Yes,
possibly a bit hectic.
Yeah, with Long Beach being such a tight track with the fountain area, especially the fountain area, that will be a very interesting race, especially with how narrow it is, to see how the LMPs will battle around the GT2s.
And speaking of the LMPs, let's move up to our LMP field for this race. Sadly, again, F4H Scottson having that very unfortunate disconnect, which allowed HCR Daytona to take the lead and LSE Mbuku to move up into second for the race. Buku, we saw that you had a very difficult start to the race with falling a fair distance back behind Daytona. However, there at the end, after Daytona made his pit stop, you were able to pull it back in that Audi and stay fairly close behind him and even challenge him there for a while. What were your thoughts whenever you were finally able to begin battling with Daytona?
It was a little bit of relief, honestly. It was pretty fun to be able to actually do something, you know. You go 30 minutes doing absolutely nothing, it got kind of boring. So it was pretty fun to be able to battle. GT traffic played a pretty big role in, you know, me trying to get to him, which that was kind of the reason why I fell back really far there at the end. I mean, I knew I could stay with him. I stayed with him there for a couple laps. And then we started hitting GT traffic, and that's why I fell back. But it was definitely fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, we could definitely tell as you were racing, man. You looked like you were having a lot of fun out there, especially when you were trying to manage throughout the GT2 cars. But even more so, once you had finally caught up to Daytona, the way you were racing, it looked like you had finally hit your marks, and you were finally trying to go. You were finally able to make something work, and that was a very exciting battle there, man.
Yeah, I had that focus, you know. I dialed in there for a little bit.
Yeah, that's and this type of racing, that's what you have to do. And it was a very, I could definitely tell personally that you had focused yourself in there. Congratulations on your second place finish, man.
Thank you so much.
Yep, absolutely. Congratulations. That was a very strong performance. And finally, moving on to our overall race winner, HCR Daytona. Tell me, Daytona, how does it feel to have won round one of this series?
Feels very nice. It feels nice to get my first MEA victory after numerous what's the word? Problems, I guess we could say. Yeah, disconnects, glitches and such. But it feels nice to finally get my first win in this entire organization. The one that I wasn't expecting.
That was a comment that we made, is throughout this entire year, during your time racing, you have been plagued with an unfortunate series of disconnects throughout so many of the races. And it looked like you were finally going to get at least a safe spot to make it through the race. However, then, just a short time later, the race leader, F4H Scottson, actually disconnects from the race, and you are able to take first. How did you feel whenever how did you feel whenever you saw that he had disconnected? As someone that was racing against him, but also as someone who understands how it feels to have those prominent issues.
I can tell you one thing, I felt really sad when I saw that, and I'm like, and then at the end I was like, okay, I finally got the win, but it kind of it did feel shallow since I won it via a disconnect rather than outright pace, but I felt really bad for him.
That is understandable, especially, again, seeing as how you're someone who understands how that feels. So, really just one final question here for you. How do you plan on trying to carry forward the momentum from this win into the next round of this series?
Sweat. Full
Got
on sweat mode.
A very short answer, but a very wise answer.
Got it. We will
Definitely
make
look forward to
sure.
seeing you.
Yeah.
We
will
look
be
forward
sure
to seeing
to.
you in the next round.
And we will be sure to let your crew chief know he needs to pack plenty of towels within that prototype. Anyways, guys, congratulations to all the drivers who managed to make it within the podium of their respective class. Thank you all for showing up to watch this live stream and to watch what happened in the first round of this series here at Sebring. This has been M&R Nightlock in the booth with me, PXM Twisted, and we're signing out.
As always, guys. See ya.